we're going to jump in. Your first message note, Jesus can heal anyone at any time. Now, here's why this is a hard message. For me, is because we live in a world that's completely broken. There's not a time that we can turn on the news in the morning and not see how broken the world is. And we're broken too. And so in a world of brokenness, we experience harm. And as we are broken, we also cause harm. And so there is not a single time in our life where you and I are not in desperate need of Jesus and the healing that he can offer to us. So many people are here today are looking just for that. Maybe you didn't have the word healing before, but that truly is what Jesus can offer. In his presence is safety. In his presence, he can make us healthy, whole, and healed. We believe Jesus can do that. We just have to allow him to do that. Jesus truly can take our dysfunction, whether it's self-made or inherited, and make it healthy. He can take our brokenness. Maybe it is anxiety, maybe it is anger, maybe it is addiction to work, food, drugs. Maybe it's our addiction to needing to be right all the time. He can take our defensiveness. He can even take our trauma and make it something whole when it feels like it's just tearing us apart on the inside. Jesus truly wants us to be healthy, whole, and healed. That's the only reason we show up here, no matter where we are on the faith journey. Whether we're just kind of dipping our toe into who Jesus is or we've been longtime Jesus followers, we are all here because we think Jesus might be able to do something that we have not been able to do for ourselves. And that's what we really get to dive into today. But before we do that, we really need to do some Bible study before we go to the Word. Are y'all up for some Bible study? Okay, guys, I did not expect that, so let's do that. So listen, one of the ways that pastors approach this thing called preaching is we go to the Word on your behalf and we do all the exegetical work. Say exegetical. Hello, future pastors. Thank you for introducing yourselves. Now, what we do in exegesis is more than a microscope. It's reading the verse and then it's getting behind the text, seeing what's beside the text socially, and walking all the way around the text. To put it a little bit more plainly, instead of just reading the verse in front of us, we figure out what's happening socially, we figure out how it's happening in the whole context of the Bible. That's work I'm gonna invite y'all to do today. Can y'all handle that? Okay, let me tell you why I want us to do this work. We're gonna roll through some healing stories of Jesus pretty fast. And I don't want you to think that we're just looking at it and bending the text to get what we want. And so we're gonna do that work together. Jesus can heal anyone, anytime. So let's unpack that word heal from James 5:16. If we're wondering how Jesus can heal, James 5:16 gives a great formula. And it says, therefore, confess your sins to each other and pray for each other so that you may be healed. There's two words that we're going to exegete together. And that is the word confess, and that is the word heal. When you study the word healing in the Bible, it is the thread that brings us all the way back when sin enters the world in the Garden of Eden. When Eve starts shifting blame to Adam, Adam shifts blame back to Eve, our need for healing began. In the Old Testament, the word healing points to God, who is portrayed as the ultimate healer. Then when we get into the Gospels, when we get into the New Testament, Jesus' ministry begins. And there's three types of healing that Jesus' ministry offers to the people around him. And it's physical healing, it's emotional healing, and it is spiritual healing. We're going to be looking at some physical healings that Jesus participates in today. But please know when we do that, there is a parallel. It's the physical healing for those who are far from Jesus. But when you and I have been following Jesus for a long time, it's important for us to consider how you and I may be emotionally and spiritually blind to what God is trying to introduce in our lives. Healing is the entire thread throughout the Bible. There's never a time in our life that we do not need that thread to connect us to the only one that can heal, who is Jesus.